So we now turn our attention to X30 Junior as we now go through the starting grid for race 4 of the meeting, heat number 1. Ches Pedersen, who took pole position by over 0.2 of a second, moving to a new team he feels very much at home at. He starts on pole position. Theo Policar will line up alongside in the front row ahead of Antoine Boots, and Ches Pedersen did actually have a little bit of a spin, I just saw, just off of turn number 3. Antoine Boots and Lionel Munguia round out row 2. Ludwig Granquist and Louis Bieland round out row 3 ahead of Edouard Godefroy and Thijs van Haus, who rounds out the top 4 rows. Last year's Yame Mini runner-up, Louis Boots, will start on the inside of row 5, and completing the top 10 will be Joshua Lauritsen. Lucas Belizari and Zoltan Koini round out row 6. Linus Tysted and Charles van Kellecom round out row 7. Gauthier Maquet and Trent van Malik row 8. Jules de Koen and Sacha Duquet on row 9, with Isaac Zahiri and Len Gugman rounding out your top 20. Completing the 26-strong grid will be Dorian Grandjean, Adam Bourne, Mohamed El Bouzaki, Mathis Mouche, Ronan Kamphaus, and Germany's Gregory Gorblicek, who suffered engine flooding after giving the kart a little bit too much gas whilst trying to start it yesterday in qualifying itself. So he will start from the back end of the grid. So, as with the other categories, X30 Senior in the shifters class, it will be 10 minutes plus an additional lap for these drivers. Sunshine and patches of blue sky start to surround the home of champions, as drivers will have to get into their 2x2. Oh, it's a mad rush. Oh, dearie me, it's like you're late for class, isn't it? However, they've got to get into position. Otherwise, if you're out of your starting position come the lights going out, you will be handed a 5-second penalty automatically. But are we going to get the lights going out? We are on this particular occasion. And Ches Pedersen leads the field into turn number 1. He's got Theo Policar diving to the inside, but there's an... Oh, and we've got a big old spin. A 360, part of it on the grass. That was the 103 Antoine Boots, who was due to start. Well, he started P3 behind Pedersen, as now it's a bit of a free-for-all. We've got yellow flags. Oh, we've got a kart off of turn. Now, that is the 102 from Euro Karting. Mohamed El Bouzaki has not started. Lucas Pellizzari, the youngster from Luxembourg. Oh, that's a real shame for him. Started 11th, and we've had another drama at turns. That's turn 6. So more to the point there. The thing is that with the rain, which there is that still sort of like slight shower effect that's happening. So there's more standing water hitting the track. So the evolution is de-evolving, so to speak. But it's been a frantic opening lap. Ches Pedersen does lead the way in the 121 Kart Republic chassis through victory lane. Theo Policar, Ludwig Granquist up 2 places. Lionel Munguia 4th. Louis Bieland, Thijs van Haus, Zoltan Koini, Trent van Malik up 8 spots now from 16th and runs 8th. Ahead of Charles van Kellecom, who's up from 14th to 9th, with Joshua Lauritsen rounding out your top 10. 25 drivers started the race. Mohamed El Bouzaki, non-starter. That's the thing with the weather here in the Limburg region. It can be sunny one place and it can be also raining somewhere else and in quite close vicinity. But Pedersen is starting to pull away. He's just pulled 4/10 in the opening sector. Theo Policar has clawed half that back in sector 2. So by no stretch of the imagination would you say that Ches Pedersen is going to be running away with it, but a lot of them are going into the penultimate corner, hard on the brakes, so the right rear wheel comes off of the tarmac so they can rotate the kart through the corner. Gap is now just under 1.6 seconds between first and second position. Coigny's got through on Bielon for P5, and Van House in the 140 has dropped down into 7th position. Lionel Munguia, who's 4th at the minute currently. 1 minute 14.848. Fastest lap of the race so far. Now someone threaded the eye of the needle very, very quickly there. And that would have been Theo Policar in the 187 for France. A good measure of timing and making sure that you keep the kart in a straight line whilst facilitating that kind of manoeuvre. So very, very good, strong effort by the driver from Dream Racing. As Granquist, I think, has just been passed by Munguia, going into the outskirts of turn number 10. And they're going to be battling side by side into the penultimate corner. So Ches Pedersen opens up a lead to nearly 1.8 seconds as we have just over 6 minutes, so 40% of the timer has run out. 60% left to go, plus that additional lap. And there has been dramas, I'm afraid, for the 105. And that is Belgium's Edouard Goffroy. The driver from RSD Karting. As Munguia trying to battle away with Policar for that second position. He wrestles his way through the inside at turn number 6. And Munguia makes a move on Policar. Munguia has been absolutely lighting up the timesheets. Purple. There was a little bit of a touch, and oh, dearie me. Granquist, I think, had contact with the left front of his left front to the right rear of Policar. Policar quite clearly not happy about it, and decided to cover off the Swede going through into turn number 9. Gregory Korblicek in the 113 from Germany has moved his way well up the order. He's up to 12th, and he's behind Roman Kamphaus, who's also up 14 places. Len Gurkman's up 10. Trent van Melk has got through on Nui Bilan for 7th position, but Lionel Munguia definitely decided, well, I'll get my elbows out and fire it up the inside off of the Europlan, and it worked. And that has meant that Theo Policar is having to fight tooth and nail with Ludwig Granquist, the youngster from Sweden. Granquist trying to get the slingshot coming out of turn 5. But Policar able to position the kart exactly where he needs to not allow the Swede to get through. As Korblicek now up into 11th position and is fast approaching fellow countryman in the 149, Len Gurkman, who rounds out your top 10 at the moment. We've got 4 minutes to go, plus an additional lap in this first of 3 heat races for X30 Junior. Ches Pedersen, in the meantime, has pulled a lead, and that is nearly 2.9 seconds over Lionel Munguia as we're on to lap number 5 of this race. Well, on lap 5, so lap 6 started. 2.5 seconds is the lead gap between Pedersen and Munguia, so a Dutch 1-2 at the front. Policar representing France in P3. Then we got Sweden and Switzerland. A little bit of alliteration when it comes to the first letters on those respective countries. So Sweden leading Switzerland. Thijs van House and Trent van Melk. Gregory Korblicek is on an absolute flyer. The 113 from Germany has now made his way up into, to get this, he's up into 8th position, driving with KSL Racing. I had a chat with one of the mechanics last night about what happened in qualifying, and just said, yeah, he just gave too much fuel and it just sort of flooded the engine and it refused to start. So sometimes that can happen. But still, nice little battle here. Len Gurkman trying to close in on, I think that is Joshua Lorison. No, it's Lewis Boots on Len Gurkman, so change for 10th position. Chespidis are just controlling things at the moment. It doesn't really need to do so much. The rain again is starting to come down a bit heavier. So the drivers are having to deal with finding the grip, but also finding it, or finding where they don't have it. As that was a bit of a dive through on the inside by the 124 Roman Kamphaus versus Joshua Lorison, I believe, in the 155. Lorison running, I believe, with the CS competition. But again, it's just about those, you can, if you put a kart, an inch to the left or an inch to the right the wrong way, it can really bite you in the fact of what availability of grip there is for the driver trying to get through into the respective corners and making the overtakes happen. And that's a big, big question that the drivers really are having to answer at the moment, because it's not easy for any of these drivers, including the person that's leading the race. Okay, right, wrong. Oh, I thought this might happen, and it's clearly come to pass. Driver 119, Lionel Munguia, has just got a 5-second time penalty for wrong starting position, but at the moment that still keeps him effectively in P2, because the gap between him and Theo Polican is around about 5.4 seconds. So that is going to help the youngster from the Netherlands. So we are counting down the seconds as through on the 110 goes 135 from Switzerland. So Ludwig Granquist is passed by Switzerland's Zoltan Coigny in the 135, running with Spirit Karting. Used to run the likes of Ethan Isher and Dan Allemann, of all people. Ethan Isher last year crowned as the Porsche Sports Cup Suisse champion in the Class 1 division. But 2 laps to go as a dive to the inside. And, well, that is Granquist losing. Oh, 2 decide to go and throw the haymaker, and they get the job done. So Theo Polican and Zoltan Coigny. Coigny loses the position to Granquist coming into turn 5 at the Europalan. And I think that was is that Tren van Melk behind them, I think, in the 118? Yes, it is. So next time around, it will be the last lap board being shown to our race leader, as Chespidis has got a big lead at 6.9 seconds and climbing. Munguia, however, is thriving in these conditions, and it's just gone purple in the middle sector. It is going to be 1 lap to go. So Chespidis crosses the line. Lionel Munguia, 1 minute 13.3 for the 119. Now, even though it might look like that Lionel Munguia is not that far away from Chespidis, so the 5-second penalty looks to have already been applied. But the battle for P3, Theo Polican to the inside of Ludwig Granquist and gets through. But look at the gaggle behind. Coigny, Van Melk, and is now, hang on a second, Gregory Korblicek goes up the inside of Tren van Melk, gets the job done. That is 20 places gained by the youngster from Germany for KSL Racing. He might even pick off 1 or 2 more before the end of this race, because now Granquist and Polican are battling away. This could really give The likes of Koini and Koblicek, the opportunity. Koblicek to the outside at turn 9. That's brave from the German, who kicks the tail end out to the right rear. And, Koini tries to get through, but Granqvist has to use the runoff error, but it is going to be Cespedes that will take the win in X30 Junior. Lionel Munguia will finish not that far behind him on the road, but an additional 5 seconds has been added, and it is going to be Theo Polican who is going to be absolutely overjoyed with taking P3 after that squabble. Zoltan Koini, Ludwig Granqvist, and what an effort by Gregory Koblicek from Germany, up from what would have been 26th and stone dead last. He made up 20 places, despite the fact that Mohamed El Bouzaki did not start the race. Trent van Melk, Len Gukman, Thijs van Housen, Lewis Boots ran out your top 10. Van Melk up 9 places, Gukman up 12. Then we had Joshua Lawson. Good work by Ronan Kamphaus, up 13 spots from 25th on the grid to round out the top 12 ahead of Sacha Duquet, who started 18th. And Adam Bourne from Great Britain, who started 22nd, finishes ahead of Antoine Boots, who dropped from P3 to P15 by the end of the race. Gauthier Maquet, Dorian Grandjean, Jules Ducoun, Louis Biland, and Lucas Pellizzari having completed the top 20. Isaac Zahiri, Marty Smoosh, Charles Van Kellicom, and Linus Dijsted rounding out the 24 finishers. Unfortunately for Belgium's Edouard Goffroy in the 105, his race would come to an abrupt end on Sector 3, Lap 2, with Mohamed El Bouzaki not starting the race. But Cespedes for Victory Lane wins X30 Junior Heat 1.